Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jordan Giesecke, and this is The Limiting Factor. In the past year, Tesla made several comments about battery shortages, and I made several videos saying that it didn't seem to be an issue with cell supply. In last week's earnings call, they finally clarified what they meant by battery shortage. They were strictly referring to the assembly of the battery pack itself, not the cells. Given that battery packs are easier to manufacture than battery cells, and Tesla's vehicle production volumes have been relatively flat, how could that be the case? Before we begin, a special thanks to my Patreon supporters, YouTube members, and Twitter subscribers, as well as Rebellionaire.com. They specialize in helping investors manage concentrated positions. Rebellionaire can help with covered calls, risk management, and creating a money master plan from your financial first principles. In the Q1 slide deck, Tesla said that the battery pack capacity continued to be the limiting factor on ramping their vehicle production, and the team is actively working on initiatives to increase capacity. Then, thankfully, towards the end of the earnings call, one of the analysts followed up on that constraint and asked if it was due to an internal cell constraint from the LFP and 4680 manufacturing, or if it was a supplier issue. That was great framing because many people have questioned whether the battery constraints that Tesla has mentioned over the past year were due to the ramp of the 4680 cell production lines. Vaibhav responded, quote, "At the moment, I think the limiter is not the cells itself. It's the battery pack capacity. Like I said in my opening remarks, we're actively working on resolving this. There's more capacity being added as we speak, and I'll let Lars add a few more things to it." End quote. Lars reinforced Vaibhav's comment and provided more detail by saying, quote, "As you guys may have seen in Berlin, we started launching a Model Y battery pack with our in-house 4680 cells a few months ago, and that is ramping up nicely, adding to Berlin's output and helping with the demand surge that we've seen in Europe. As well, we're adding additional capacity in our Reno facility, sort of retooling it as it's been building battery packs now for almost 10 years, in order to put in some more efficient lines and get additional output there. We continue to have growth in China as well, ramping in-house LFP module production and battery packs associated with that. All of those things are happening now and in the next few months, and that's really plans we laid out a few months back to increase that output with the growing demand." End quote. Looking at Lars' comments more broadly, he's saying that Tesla's battery pack constraints are self-imposed due to internal battery pack projects. So why is Tesla running those internal projects instead of purchasing from suppliers? In my view, it's to reduce costs in an increasingly competitive EV market. Let's take a closer look at each factory that Lars mentioned. First, at Giga Berlin, they're shifting to using 4680 battery cells that were produced in the United States. Those cells will be cheaper because not only are they produced in-house, which cuts margins to third-party suppliers, but Tesla should be receiving a $35 per kilowatt-hour production tax credit for them. Second, at Giga Nevada, Tesla's upgrading battery pack production lines that were first stood up back in 2017 to 2018. Now, with almost a decade of experience, they're well overdue for an upgrade, which might also mean improvements to the design of the battery pack. That, in turn, should mean lower production costs for those battery packs as well as higher production rates. Third, at Giga Shanghai, as has been widely reported, Tesla started purchasing battery cells from Sunwoda and manufacturing the modules themselves in-house. Up until now, most of Tesla's LFP battery supply for vehicles in China came from CATL, which manufactured both the cells and the modules. The Sunwoda cells are likely cheaper than the battery cells they purchased from CATL, and of course assembling the modules in-house that go into the battery packs will also likely save money. What all this means is that over the next couple of years, thanks to those cost savings on the battery pack, which is the most expensive assembly in the vehicle, Tesla can either reduce the cost of their vehicles or take the additional vehicle margin. Lastly, it's worth noting that Tesla exited Q1 with their highest vehicle backlog in over 2 years. Once the battery pack production bottleneck is solved, it should contribute to higher vehicle sales in upcoming quarters and potentially new highs for total vehicle sales. Before I close out the video, it's probably worth making a few comments on Megapack production as well. First, Tesla's deployment of energy storage products were low in Q1 at 8.8 gigawatt hours, which was a 38% reduction from 14.2 gigawatt hours in Q4. Tesla explained that the reduction was due to the lumpy nature of the energy storage business, which is subject to customer project timelines and construction schedules. Second, although Megapack gross margins managed to reach an all-time high, it was due to adjustments from tariffs paid in prior quarters. In the future, Tesla is guiding that we can expect those gross margins to start falling due to factors like increased competition and tariff impacts. Yes, for Tesla's Megapacks in the United States, they will increasingly use domestic LFP battery cell supply, which will avoid tariffs. But production costs will at least initially be higher here in the US. However, that might change in the future if Tesla starts producing prismatic LFP battery cells in-house using lithium from their Corpus Christi refinery, LFP cathode material from Austin, and of course using their dry electrode coating process. Third, Tesla reaffirmed that their Megapack 3 production will start later this year in Houston, Texas, which is a more competitive product than Megapack 2. Lastly, as a side note, in Tesla's quarterly reports, they normally list Giga Shanghai as 40 gigawatt hours of Megapack production capacity, but this time it was listed as 20 gigawatt hours. I'm not sure why that is, perhaps to show current production capacity rather than maximum production capacity, but that would be inconsistent with how the production capacity for the other products is listed. For example, we know the 4680 definitely isn't up to the 40 gigawatt hours of production yet. Either way, since they didn't make any comments on the 20 gigawatt hour adjustment in the earnings call and reaffirmed strong demand and production, it doesn't seem important, but it could be a good question for the next earnings call. In summary, the mystery of Tesla's battery shortage is now solved. It's self-imposed due to upgrades and insourcing, which means it's temporary and relatively easily solved. And when it's solved, Tesla should have more battery packs available and at lower cost, which means greater vehicle sales and/or higher margins in the future. As for the Megapack business, gross margins were great, but we should expect reduced margins in the future. However, thanks to their order backlog and the new factories they're bringing online, that should still mean greater revenues and profits overall. As always, please consider supporting the channel with the links in the description, which now also includes a referral link for Signature Solar. If you use that link to purchase home battery or solar equipment, it nets me a small percent-based credit, but that can add up on a large purchase and it really helps the channel. On that note, a special thanks to Captain Arva Svenning for your generous support of the channel, my YouTube members, ex-subscribers, and all the other patrons listed in the credits. I appreciate all of your support, and thanks for tuning in.